welcome to Idle Chat with the Wait What podcast. How are you all doing?
Well, is it the Wait What podcast? It's two-thirds of the Wait What God.
It's the Wait What duo again.
It's the Wait What duo again.
Yeah.
So we should inform.
Liam isn't ill this time.
Liam's not ill this time. This time, he was just in the middle of the day. His internet decided to go boom boom, and he is not able to join us in the recording today. It's just a small idle chat with myself and Mitch tonight.
It is.
I've seen what he's done when he edits like the YouTube videos and stuff like this. So I'm expecting him to look out for pockets where he's going to make us all look foolish.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably going to edit something and put speech bubbles or whatever it was, that kind of thing. And parts that we say to cut out, he won't cut out and stuff like that. Because, he's a petty human being. Well, I shouldn't say that because now he's going to edit that.
He's going to be careful to put you in a West Ham kit, full West Ham kit as well.
That won't be the worst thing in the world. That's not going to be worse than that. If you'd like to let Liam know to sort his effing internet out, you can on our socials, on Twitter at WaitWhatPodTrio, and we have a YouTube channel which is the Wait What Podcast. Please give us a like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube right now in March. That joke doesn't work too much though. He's doing well. He's thumbnailing the videos. He's getting them out better.
He's getting them out relatively quick, depending on how quick he get his. Well, it depends if he's editing all on his phone or if he's having to use Wi-Fi.
Depends if he has his internet now. He'll have to do everything with on mobile data or whatever, or free Wi-Fi. That'd be great.
Well, if you're watching this in December time, Merry Christmas.
He's also done some TikToks. So I know if we do some housekeeping kind of thing, a little bit on Idle Chat. He's done some TikToks recently, so check those out on the Wait What podcast. I think that's the TikTok.
I think it's at the Wait What podcast.
At the Wait What podcast, yeah. I think the YouTube channel was just Wait What podcast as well, not just the. See, this is why
Liam.
This is why he's here. Yeah, me and you just bring the sizzle.
Yeah. I bring the intros for this one. You bring the intros for the other one on the main.
There we go. Yeah, exactly. What is the intro? Well, anyway, on Thursday, regular episode came out. Thank you to the guys over the Gray's Tap Room podcast, Tabby and Mike.
Yep.
They were very entertaining. We're talking about drunk horror stories. That was a very long episode because it was so fun to talk about. It's hard to get a natural point to stop sometimes when it comes to talking to people that we're enjoying having a conversation with.
Yeah, and we've also realised that I don't actually need to drink to make you walk away from the screen.
Mate, if you make me walk away from the screen tonight, then you'll be double fucked. But yeah, thanks to those guys. Please check out their episode, check out their podcast. That's the Gray's Tap Room podcast. And we're doing an idle chat. Because we did have some kind of idea. We're probably going to go just do this anyway. We're just going to talk about what's going on generally in the world at the moment. Things we haven't talked about since the last time. We kind of talked about news stories and that. One thing that we probably could talk about for a bit is the latest in the football with Manchester City that has gone on. I think the last time we mentioned football on the podcast or anything like that, Arsenal were flying high at the top of the table.
Yeah.
Mitchell was an Arsenal fan.
I am.
February has come along, and as Arsenal have a tendency to do, they've started to drop points. It started with a draw. No, it started with a loss, and then had against Everton.
Draw.
Then they drew against Brentford,
win.
And then was that FA Cup? No, they lost in the FA Cup as well.
No, lost in the FA Cup.
Yeah, lost in the FA Cup, and then they lost most recently against Manchester City. Was it at home or away?
We was at home this time. It's the first time we've lost at home this season.
Yeah, injuries has kind of not really helped you. I mean, when you had Gabriel Jesus at the beginning of the season, and then was bringing in Nketiah. I know Nketiah did well at some points in the season, but he's just not at that same level.
No, he's not. with Jesus, he brings out the best in Martinelli. When Jesus isn't there, then Martinelli seems like he's on his own sort of thing, if you know what I mean. Isolated on the left-hand side, trying to get the ball into Nketiah, which is never happening.
Exactly, and without getting too technical into football, we'll just keep it light kind of thing. The Arsenal were top of the table, like pretty for the majority of before the World Cup and just after the World Cup. They with that loss to Man City is the first time they got down to second. They are level points, but they do have a game in hand, so they can go back up.
Yep.
But the main thing that is quite interesting in the news when it comes to around Premier League football is the whole situation with Man City and all the shady goings on they've had going on in the back room.
Just quickly before you go onto that, though, they're actually getting at the moment they're getting looked into for the players surrounding the referee in the game against Arsenal, so they could be getting fined for that as well. They did an Arsenal basically because Arsenal did that in 2 games in a row and got fined both times. So I'm guessing City's going to get a fine as well.
Yeah, but fine doesn't really affect positioning in the table.
No.
The main thing about this whole basically it's like a kind of shady accountancy is the way I understand it. It's been going on for years as well. It's been going on for 10 years since Man City came into money. They had a manager when they first started. They had Mark Hughes who started, but then they brought in Roberto Mancini. And from what I understand, they had Mancini as a manager, and also he was. They had him as a job title that he was consulting for a team in the UAE, the Arab Emirates. So he had the kind of 2 jobs as a way to. I think it's the way to pay him more, kind of thing, for his wage or whatever.
Yeah.
So that they had a way to pay him more to being the City manager, but without declaring that they were paying him that much as City manager. It's the way I understand it on that respect. But it's just basically just loads of that kind of shady kind of activities where Man City for the last 10 years have been declaring that they've been spending so much, but they actually have been spending a lot more and breaking financial fair play rules. And they've already come under investigation for FFP before, so I don't understand this is...
Didn't they get done by UEFA before?
I think so.
Not guilty on that.
Possibly, yeah.
And this one's now FIFA doing it.
Exactly. I think because it might have affected their Champions League qualification is the way I understood it from the way before. But yeah, with all this kind of trouble that they're under, it's not just football rules they're breaking actual actual laws, proper fraud is what they're pretty much doing. So there is obviously a load of higher ups in City that are obviously under the investigation, possibly jail time coming. And the way that could affect City Football Club is one of the ways is a points deduction for this season, which I'm guessing Arsenal fans are very much rubbing their hands together for. We can drop as many points as we want in February.
We don't care. Let's play them again one more time.
Yeah, exactly. What's your feeling? What's your feeling on the points deduction though? Do you feel that is
I don't think it's sufficient enough, considering how long it's gone on for. And if they want to make a statement, if you look at I can't really compare it to Rangers though, can I? Because they were chucked all the way down to the 3rd tier, weren't they?
Yes, they were.
They were given a massive fine, dropped all the way down to the 3rd tier, and that to literally make their way back up from scratch.
I think it's 4th tier actually, because they went to the Scottish Division 3. So yeah, that would be the 4th tier. Yeah, but yeah, that is. I can't remember I think it was the Rangers chairman said that he had more money than they actually did, basically, and that's how again it was a fraud situation.
This is why I think they should have a lot more than just a points deduction, because a fine is nothing to them. They'll just be like, okay, we'll pay it, and then probably carry on doing the same thing.
Yeah, like they did before with the
points deduction. Points deduction probably only make them down to 10th, which will give them enough chance to get back up to the top again.
Well, from what I understand, it's a 15-point deduction at the moment. So if that was to hit them now, I'll just get up the Premier League table just to have a little mosey on, see where the position they'd be in. So if they were in, if they had a 15-point deduction, they'd go down to 36 points. So actually, they'll only drop to 6th. That's how far. That's how far Arsenal and Man City are ahead of like the rest of the table. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they dropped down to 6th. Obviously, probably out the title race. You'd think, but
I don't think they'll be out of the title race.
No, even with a 15-point deduction.
No, I still think they've got it in them to get back in. They're even probably not title race as such. Probably back into Europe. They'll definitely get back into Champions League.
Top 4, yeah, I can see that because
Yeah.
if they drop down to 36 points, then they would go.
They're only in the Europa League spot at the moment.
they'd be like 5 points behind Newcastle, who are in 4th.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so Champions League might still be a possibility. So then, then the other possibility is what we've been talking about is a relegation. Like what happened to Juventus during the match fixing scandal that they had back in 2006-07. Juventus just went down one division. Do you feel? I mean, do you feel that could happen with City?
I have a feeling
that's unprecedented.
It could, but like you say, it's unprecedented.
Yeah, but if they wanted to set an example.
I've also heard that if they do get relegated, the Championship have no obligation to put them into their league.
Right.
So then if the Championship don't put them into their league, then they're not in an actual league.
Well, yeah.
Because they'll have to go all the way down to... They'll probably end up having to play Sunday League and get their way back in.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to see like Man City playing at like the local kind of football team, part-timers and stuff like that. I mean, I don't think the Football League is going to exempt Man City from being in one of the leagues because at the end of the day, even if they, although they're under no obligation to have them join the league,
it will bring a lot of money to that league.
Exactly, the size of City Stadium would fill up, and you'll bring loads of media attention.
Do you have a feeling if they get found guilty, then the owners might have to sell up? Because if they have to sell up, then they could be in a lot of trouble.
I mean, yeah, we'll see. We'd have to find another equally billionaire, which apparently there's a lot of them like sniffing around football at the moment. You're hearing things about Manchester United and Tottenham in the past.
Man United offered like 6.8 billion for the club, and they was like, no.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like enough. Weirdly, 6.8 billion, like with the money that people are throwing around in City and at Chelsea and in Newcastle, like I'm saying, it just doesn't seem like enough, which is ludicrous because it's just a football team. But
which thinking about it now, Daniel Ek, who was going to put a £3 billion bid in for Arsenal and get help from, I think it was Henri Beckham and that. Oh, not Beckham, Bergkamp. It's not enough, really.
No, exactly. It wouldn't be. So yeah, you're stuck with Kroenke at the moment. Sorry.
Apparently, Josh was there at the game, and apparently he's trying to making his presence known there as well.
Oh, okay. It's only taken them what? How long do they own the club? 8 years, something like that.
But Josh, not Stan.
Yeah, no, Stan don't care about nothing, mate.
Stan only cares about the Rams, innit?
Yeah, well, no, he did get. I mean, the Rams won the Super Bowl thanks to Stan, but they still hate him because he moved the team from St. Louis to Los Angeles. But if they Arsenal could win the Premier League,
and they're trying to move it. Wasn't there a rumor he was trying to move them to Las Vegas as well?
I know the Oakland Raiders have moved to Las Vegas now, so that might have been. But yeah, Stan is shady in that respect. So yeah, we see the other punishment that I don't agree with is the whole idea that City could have their titles just like taken away.
I mean, technically, even though, yes, they didn't abide by FIFA fair play rules, they still earned the right to win them trophies.
Yeah.
They didn't buy them. You can argue they bought the trophies, but at the same time, they didn't really. If the team didn't play, then yeah. But they played fantastic.
Exactly. Look at all the seasons that City didn't win anything. Like they were outmatched kind of thing on all those occasions. I mean, they still haven't won the Champions League.
They couldn't. They could buy the Premier League, but not the Champions League.
Exactly, and like PSG are the same, where they have invested millions and billions into the team to get them to win the Champions League, and they have.
How long do you reckon it'll be until PSG get investigated?
Oh well, they say this could be.
They've spent a lot of money on PSG, the players at PSG, and they've given They give Mbappe that weird deal, didn't they? Where he owns majority of the club now, or part of the club.
But then again, that might be how they got around it. But then in a legal sense, kind of thing, rather than an illegal sense that like what City have done with fraud.
Do you think Chelsea will get investigated next?
Not now, no, because they got new owners now.
Yeah,
I mean, they could be investigated for past stuff under the previous Shady regime, but then who would be held accountable for that? Chelsea, the current owners. I don't know. It's all up in the air and all crazy. But the main thing I want to say is just that the Premier League took the bloody time to finally
10 years,
yeah, 10 years. I mean, that's another reason why I don't think they should have their titles taken away, just because they've gone for 10 years just like winning stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, all that stuff happened, kind of thing. And if you're now going to say, "Oh, nah, City didn't win that title, Manchester United won the title," just be like, "Oh, okay, I can definitely remember, that happening." Tottenham actually won a league cup, so I should want this because that means Tottenham won a trophy. Watford got smashed like 5-6-0 in an FA Cup final by Man City, but they actually won that game. Now it's just crazy. Just say City won those. If you want to put an asterisk next to it, just to say under shady circumstances, that's fine. But you can't take the titles.
I don't.
In my opinion,
I don't think they should have their titles taken off of them.
No,
because it's not just. I understand it's for the. I'd understand the reasons for it, but at the same time, it's just. I think it's unethical because of all the players they've had will go through with all them winners' medals, and it's going to be tainted because they're having it taken away from them.
Yeah, and then giving those medals to like players who didn't win anything.
Exactly, and it's like it'll be like a kick in the face.
Exactly. Imagine like Steven Gerrard like finally getting a Premier League medal. He'd probably look at it and just go, "No, thanks. I'll just give it to Vincent Kompany again."
I didn't even earn it.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like no, it's not right.
At the end of the day, they earned their right to win them trophies, regardless of what was going on in the back room.
Yeah, I can see why the other Premier League owners are pissed, though. Like the whole idea of them kicking City out of the Premier League and like
apparently a majority of them do want that to happen. They want City to be out of the league,
and I can understand why. Because if you are running a football club like as hard as you can, and you have to like abide by these rules, so you can't get a certain players and you can't put the investment you want into the team, but yeah, City are over here doing whatever the fuck they want and winning. It's like kids cheating when you're playing a game with the kind of thing.
Who was it? I think it was La Liga. One of the presidents of the football club was saying about the Premier League was strong arming the transfer leagues. Transfers. Yeah, because of stuff like Man City, stuff what Chelsea was doing really, where they were offering ridiculous prices and saying, "Oh, by the way, here's an 8-year contract."
Yeah, but I think that happened more before that because when you got the likes of Nottingham Forest spending hundreds of millions on players when they've just made the Premier League, and like West Ham are able to put in like 50 million bids for like players, and so are like the likes of Everton and other teams that are quite low down in the Premier League table. That's because of the TV rights that the Premier League has got with the majority of places around the world, basically, because of all that great money.
We're still extorted with that as well.
Yeah. Well, no, that's legal money though, because that's TV rights, and that's how that's going to all the Premier League teams. So that's why the Premier League is seen as one of the best leagues in the world, because they get that much money in every year, and the Serie A just doesn't, and that's why the Serie A has gone downhill, and the Premier League just kept getting better. With Man City going relegated, if that does happen, a lot of players probably going out the window.
They'll go. How far?
Oh no, they'll come. I reckon they'll only be down to the Championship, and I reckon they'll come straight back up again. The question is, how many players do you think will go? Do you reckon they'll stay and have that one season in the Championship?
I feel Haaland will go.
You feel Haaland would go? That's
yeah.
He's
He's apparently going for a rough patch with Pep at the moment, isn't he? As well.
I don't pay no attention to like the rumors and stuff like that.
I can't see if, to be honest, out of them all, Haaland would be the one you'd think would stay.
I think Haaland would stay.
He grew up in Leeds, and Leeds has spent majority of their time while he was living in Leeds down there in the Championship.
Yeah, and his dad played for Man City, so he obviously has that kind of connection with City themselves.
And the Championship. City was spent majority of the time there as well.
There you go. I'm just going to go a list of... actually, the first person we should discuss if they're going to stay is Pep. Do you reckon Pep will stay?
I don't. Didn't he come out and say he's either going to stay 1 or 2 more seasons and he's going to leave anyway?
But before this?
Yeah. Before it was announced, unless he knew things were coming out like this, and was like, "I'm gonna jump ship before it all goes to shit."
I mean, it's hard to understand what Pep's going to do at any point. To be honest, I mean, if they could turn around to him and just give him a new contract, loads of wage and stuff, and say, get us back in the Premier League. I mean, if it is just the one tier they drop down to the Championship, maybe Pep will stay. Maybe if they go to the League 2, though, that could be a bit.
If it is just the one, if they go down to the Championship and that's it, I'd feel like teams like Rangers would feel hard done by because City have got money. They was like, we can't drop them any further than there.
I mean, with the Rangers situation, it wasn't really the club's fault, but yeah. It was because obviously they should look into the guy that's coming in to buy a club, and you should just be selling it to him for like money that he ain't got.
Yeah.
Right. So the likes of like Kevin De Bruyne, I
reckon he's go at the end of the season anyway. I reckon his last. Mahrez will probably stay. I don't think they'll be able to get. I don't think they'll be able to get rid of him.
The Grealish
will go. He'll probably end up at West Ham or something.
He's started to play well. He scored.
Or he'll end up back at Villa again.
Yeah. He's played in the Championship again.
The issue is you got to look at these players and think all these players really play for their national teams as well. If they're back, if they're down that far, especially the likes of like Grealish and that. They don't look at teams in the Championship or lower for the national team. They always look at the teams in the Premier League. So they'd want to be in the Premier League to have the chance of staying in the national team.
I mean, when you've
Foden, Stones, and Grealish, wasn't it? In it, they're the 3 players they've got.
Carl Walker, he's probably Calvin Phillips.
Calvin Phillips, yeah.
Yeah. When Juventus got relegated to Serie B, I remember a lot of their players left, apart from Del Piero and Buffon. I think they were the 2 that stayed. If again, it probably does depend on how far they drop.
Yeah,
I mean, I like the idea of like some of the older players.
I'd like to see them in Sunday League, playing against like I don't know, name a Sunday League team.
Southend United.
The funny thing is, ain't they higher up in the leagues than Dagenham and Redbridge?
Probably, yeah, but they're still really bad.
I could love to see Haaland in Dagenham.
Oh, yeah. Be the most beautiful man in Dagenham. He would be.
£20 to go and see a ticket. I'll go and see that.
Fry pork pie for Erling Haaland. Oh man. Oh yeah, that was nice. That took up a good chunk of time there, Mitch. So have football.
Do you want to brush on what's going on the day this is released as well, or what's going on today?
I can do. I mean, what I would just say,
elimination of chambers.
Yeah, I mean the elimination chamber will be going on at the time where this is come out as a recording. Which is wrestling, sorry, WWE. It's actually a really interesting card because, like, usually in the big show between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania is normally just like a one night. It doesn't really matter. the likes of Roadblock and Fast Lane, and some No Way Outs as well. Even though there were some good No Way Outs, but this one has actually got some matches that look kind of interesting. So there's 2 Elimination Chamber matches. One's for the United States title. Austin Theory, Seth Rollins, Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Damian Priest. Sorry, I've gone on the Wikipedia article and it says Peter Andre here. It's not Peter Andre. It's not Peter Andre. It's Montez Ford. I don't know why they put Peter Andre. Now I'm not trust anything in this Wikipedia article. Go to Wikipedia. It's the best source of information because everyone can edit it at any time, and you're always getting the most up-to-date information.
It's Seth Rollins, Montez Ford, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano, and Bronson Reed.
Yeah. I think that Austin Theory will retain that title. What else? The women's got Asuka, Liv Morgan, Nikki Cross, Raquel Rodriguez, Natalia, and Carmella for the Raw Women's Championship. Sorry, it's a match for a number 1 contender to face Bianca Belair at WrestleMania for the Raw Women's title. I think Asuka will win, but if they want to go a bit interesting with it, they could knock out Natalia or someone else backstage and have Ronda Rousey in the Elimination Chamber and have an interesting Bianca Belair versus Ronda Rousey match at WrestleMania.
I thought the Royal Rumble was for a spot. Or is that SmackDown?
But there's 2 women's titles.
Yeah.
And so, the Rhea Ripley won the Rumble, and she decided to go against Charlotte Flair at SmackDown title. Also, a mixed tag match: Edge and Beth Phoenix, who are married in real life, versus the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Rhea Ripley, with Dominic Mysterio no doubt on the outside causing shenanigans. Should be a good match.
On
I think
CBS Sports, they've actually put who they feel that's gonna win. So I can read out
I feel Edge and Beth Phoenix will win, with Finn Balor probably taking the fall. But if they want to make Rhea Ripley look really strong going into WrestleMania, which is probably the more likely option, they'll probably have her pinning Beth Phoenix.
But wouldn't this be the best sort of position? But if they're going to start doing it, where they start putting cracks into Judgment Day, wouldn't this be the best possibility to do it? Because Damian Priest is in the chamber, he can't get help really from any of them.
Yeah,
and then they've got Balor and Ripley together. They could lose that, so they will all lose a match.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of Rhea Ripley going against Charlotte Flair while still having to deal with the Dominic Mysterio stuff. I mean, the risk you got there is Dominic Mysterio becoming the focal point over a match between Charlotte Flair and Rhea Ripley, which is not as good as Dominic has been. You don't really want to take the attention away from that match. I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see what they can do. That's what I mean. This pay-per-view card is quite interesting. And one of the interesting matches on there is Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
That will be...
Did you see the spear Lashley gave for Lesnar?
Yeah. He meant it.
He meant it.
He meant that one. It's interesting because... that's a match that probably people imagined would be at WrestleMania. So it tells me that both men will be facing other people at WrestleMania, which excites me because I like the idea of Brock Lesnar facing someone different.
Do you think Mania they'll go back to Theory and Lashley?
Maybe, yeah. They could do Theory and Lashley at Mania and give Lashley a big title win. That could happen. But then again, if John Cena could be coming back for Mania, and he could be the natural person to face Austin Theory as well. So, I don't know. Bobby Lashley, you've got a lot of different options for who you could go for with him. But Brock Lesnar, I'd like to see him go against Gunther. That would be a really good match. At WrestleMania, though. But then the question becomes, like, do you keep Brock strong going into that match by giving him the win against Lashley here? Again, I'm glad I don't book wrestling. And the main event, the one that a lot of people are looking forward to, is Roman Reigns versus Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn obviously hit Roman Reigns with a chair at Royal Rumble because Roman was trying to force Sami to attack his friend Kevin Owens. Afterwards, Sami Zayn basically has been attacking the Bloodline, Jey Uso has been keeping his distance away from them. Bloodline doesn't seem as obviously isn't as cohesive as it used to be. And this match is going on in Montreal, Quebec, which is Sami Zayn's hometown. So he's going to get a huge reaction and a lot of support during this. It's probably going to be the match of the night. I can see that. But probably going to go long as well.
I also heard the Usos have been granted permission to be there.
Have they? Okay, that's interesting. Yeah,
but whether that's true or not,
I could see an Uso costing Sami Zayn in the match. A lot of people would like to see Sami Zayn win. I don't think that's going to happen.
Do you think if the Usos are there, that Jey will back Sami?
No, I think if Jey's going to get involved in the finish, it will be to help Roman and set up a match at Mania with Sami and Kevin versus the Usos. I think that would be more likely. But if they did want to go again, if they want to go interesting with it and maybe put Sami Zayn in title contention at WrestleMania, there is kind of rumors about Sami Zayn, Cody Rhodes, and Roman Reigns triple threat being the main event at Mania because Rhodes and Zayn have been interacting more in promos. Paul Heyman had a great promo with Cody Rhodes.
Could this be the way of making Roman stay looking strong by getting Cody to pin Sami rather than Roman?
Yes, Roman Reigns hasn't been pinned since he won the title. So if they wanted
and
to,
the only person
Roman
to pin him previously
that was Baron Corbin,
Rollins, wasn't it? Was it Baron Corbin? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but the with that, there's a way to have Roman drop the title without taking a pinfall. Then they could make it a triple threat. But then it doesn't make Rhodes look strong beating Sami in a triple threat, and it doesn't make Sami look strong beating Rhodes in the triple threat either. So again, it's a tough one. And also Roman Reigns already done a triple threat with Edge and Daniel Bryan, and he pinned them both.
One thing I do like that they haven't brought in is LA Knight and Bray Wyatt. I'm guessing that thing's finished now.
Yeah.
Or are they having another dark match?
Yeah, a pitch black match. Yeah, I want to see more. I want to see more of LA Knight. He's my guy.
Botch ending.
Yeah. Oh, mate.
I know. A lot of wrestlers hate the word botch. I watched the thing, and Chris Jericho absolutely hates when fans say botch.
Yeah, but he hates
that finishing. If you see it from another angle, you can clearly see the distance between.
Oh yeah, I've seen the crowd.
Uncle Howdy.
And he misses.
He completely misses.
Mate, you can see from the footage that he missed. The first thing I said was he missed.
I did as well.
Anyway,
I was like, he missed.
Anyway, SmackDown's still to come tonight as we're recording this. There might be more matches added. I really thought we were going to see a 6-women tag match with Becky Lynch, Lita, and Trish Stratus versus Bayley and Damage Control. That may still happen, but
they had that they had the match with Bayley, Bianca, Becky, and Rhea, wasn't it?
What's that?
For the spot in the Elimination Chamber.
No, Bianca wouldn't have been in that. No, there was a cage match on Raw between Becky and Bayley, and Lita came out and saved Becky after she was getting attacked. And there was rumors that Trish Stratus was supposed to be on Raw to kind of be added into the match as well as in the 6-man.
I thought I like that. Vince is gone, so she don't have to get on all fours again and bark.
Indeed. I think I like the idea of Trish being involved because there would have been a build up for Becky versus Trish at Mania, which I think would be a good match. But then again, if Trish ain't wrestling, then that's up to her. But yeah, should be a good show. We'll probably talk about WrestleMania when it comes along. That's probably it for Idle Chat.
Yeah.
That's good.
Nice and easy today. Nice and easy.
It's easy.
See what happens when Liam isn't around.
There we go. More of the editing. There we go. It's all in there. Oh, look at him making us look like twats. Well, normal service hopefully be resumed next week when we record a main episode and do the Idle Chat as well. So yeah, check it out then.
Thank you for listening, guys. You can find all previous Idle Chats on all podcasting platforms. You can find all of our other podcast episodes on all podcasting platforms as well. You can also find them on Twitter at WaitWhatPodTrio. Thank you and peace.
Finger gun.
Finger guns.